Alright, what's going on, guys? It is Story Times of Crimes, or Shane Dryer here, and I have 3 stories for you guys today. These are going to be a bit shorter, but nothing wrong with that. No, mine's pretty big. Excuse me. Sorry, let's get into the video. That was really inappropriate. Yeah, this story is going to be about me stealing Halloween candy. So, this happened about 7 years ago, and the brother for hire, the same guy who was involved in the creepy story about the man who laid in the thorn bush shirtless with a gun, yeah, that's the same guy who's involved in this story. And I'm going to have that link in the description below, so yeah, check it out. But anyways, it was obviously Halloween, and I had hung out with the kid who I robbed the candy from. I had hung out with this kid about 4 years prior to this, and the 3 years before this, I had trick-or-treated with him. And the reason why I stopped hanging out with this kid a couple months before this happened was because the whole years prior, he would always try to one-up me and was always trying to be better than me, you know, but he wouldn't come out and say it. And finally, the last time I hung out with him, he actually came through and said it. He said, "I'm better than you," and stomped his foot. And I said, "Oh, heck no, you are not. You are way at the bottom compared to me." So yeah, this friendship is over, and I ended it. And so the brother for hire comes around because my mom wanted somebody to take me out for Halloween, and we drove down the street. And I told Ed, which is the name of the brother for hire, I told him, I was like, "I know this kid. I want to take his Halloween candy." And Ed was like, Ed would show me pictures of girls he would, you know, screw. Let's just say that. Keep the video not demonetized and stuff. I'm trying to not swear and all that. But yeah, he drove down the street for me. I got out of the car, told him, I was like, "Dude, leave the car running and the back door open." And he was like, "Okay." I ran up to the house, grabbed this metal bowl of candy, because the mother would leave the candy out because she was antisocial, which I definitely understand that for sure. I really get that, but I took the bowl, whipped it in the back seat, and Ed started driving off. And before I closed the door, I dumped all the candy out and whipped the metal bowl right out the door. And I remember, the reason why I remember this story even recently, is because it was 7 years ago, is solely for the sound that the bowl made when it hit the ground. It was like dun 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 dun. It was the funniest, most obnoxious sound you could ever have a metal bowl hitting asphalt make, ever. It was hilarious, yo. Excuse me. Oop. But no, it was so funny, yo. And of course, because they were still home, they saw the whole thing, and they still had my parents' number because he hung out with me at my house, and my adoptive mom was very difficult, let's just say. She's given me more hell than anybody in this world has, and she's the reason why I'm so rebellious. But whatever, it's over, it's in the past. But yeah, I had to go back to the house and apologize to the kid and all that. It really stunk. Trying to keep this video swear free, because not only did I promise I would do that, and when I say something, I go through with it, unless it's like severe, like murder or rape. And I would never even try those in the first place, you know what I mean? But no, that's basically all there is to that story. So part 2 is coming up right now. Alright, and for part 2, I'm going to be talking about the time I stole gasoline from my aunt's barn. And this happened in early November of 2020, right before I flipped my car, for real. And I remember my friend, he was having an emotional breakdown, having problems with his dad. This was actually I that was having the problems. Not I, but the I from the letter I from many of the other stories. And so this was after I had blown through that whole $6,000 check. And the only way to get gas was to steal it. So I had enough gas to make it from my dorm to the town of Leroy where my aunt lived. And then I parked my car at Ace Hardware, which is like 5 minutes from where she lives. And I walked down the road, walked all the way around I made a big U, so I went behind the barn, around the pine trees, and then through to the pig barn where I found this can of gas. 'Cause I searched both the barn and the pig barn, only found 1 can of gas in total. And I went all the way back around, and mind you, this is at midnight too. and I set the, oh my God, there's a lot of people creeping by my house. I've had like 3 cars go by my house, and it's terrifying me. And one of them actually pulled in the driveway and then pulled down the street and got out. So let's hope I don't get killed after this video. If you see this uploaded, that means I made it out alive. But anyways, back to the story. I set the cans, and when I say cans, I meant the gas can, and I actually stole some motor oil too. So I set those 2 cans by the neighbor's driveway. Because let me tell you, if you're walking on the side of the road with a can of gas, it's a little sus, yo. Just a little bit. You're going to get picked up for sure. And I did not want to get the flashing lights because there's always a chance. You might think there isn't, but there's always a chance a cop can drive by. And I've learned that from having run-ins with the cops, thinking everything was okay when it wasn't. But I walked down the road, got my SUV, turned it on, backed out of Ace Hardware, drove down the street, pulled over real quick, just jumped out of my SUV, opened the passenger door, just whipped those cans in there. I'm surprised I didn't spill anything. And slammed both doors and just took off. What didn't even take 10 seconds for me to do that. And down the street was a funeral home, yo. And I filled up the stolen gas into my tank next to a funeral home. So yeah, that's pretty dandy. And I got away with that too. I was never caught for that. It was pretty good. And then the last story is about the time we started a fire, like in the middle of town. It was at the Leroy tennis courts, with the pavilion next to it. And me and my friends had smoked all our stuff. It was me, I again, and Keith. And we had found a stuffed animal in the ground. And I lit the stuffed animal on fire. And it burned like a candle wick, okay? It just nice slow burn. And so I got the bright idea to add a McDonald's wrapper from the garbage can. And when I added that, it lit up. And so I and Keith, and when I say I mean I as like the individual, not I as in me. And we started just piling the McDonald's bags and wrappers. There's just tons of paper in the garbage can, piling it all on. And by the time we got it all piled on, it was a huge flame. It got so big at one point that we actually all urinated on it to put it out. It was kind of gross. But we started walking down the road, and of course, what do you know? A cop rolls by and loops around and stops, and he goes, "Halt!" He didn't even say stop. He said halt, like the 16th century knight would say. And that's ironic because the Leroy Knights, which is the name of our school. I don't know what you'd call it, mascot, spirit, whatever. Leroy Knights were the Leroy Knights, whatever. You don't even give about that anyways. But he said, "You 3 are matching the description of the lady who called in a fire." And we had tried to deny it and just deny it and deny it and deny it. And eventually he's like, "Okay, well, come with me then." He walked us over to the pavilion and pointed right at the ash. And we just gave up. I mean, we knew we were toast anyways. I mean, Keith had short blonde hair. I was shorter and had blonde hair, and I had long hair and glasses on, so we weren't getting away with it. And he listed all that to us too, and it made me realize how unique we actually looked. And he said, "Well, you 3 are under arrest." And Keith said, hold on," and he proposed an idea which saved us getting arrested. He proposed the idea if we cleaned it all up and put all the ashes back into the garbage can, that we'd be let free. And the cop actually let us go, because this happened at 5 in the morning. The cop was tired, and we were too. And the cop had actually said, "I'm tired." He had admitted that he was exhausted. And we had to put our hands in our own urine. It wasn't fun, but you know what? That's what you gotta do to not get arrested. And he let us go. But I hate to say, that's pretty much all there is to these 3 stories. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Peace, love, and happiness.